In rhetoric, ʻlaɪtətiːz is a figure of speech where an understatement is used to emphasize a point by denying the opposite, often incorporating double negatives for effect. For example, "she's not unkind" could be used to express that someone is not particularly rude, but also isn't particularly considerate. The degree of emphasis depends on the context in which it is used. For instance, the commonly used phrase "not bad" could indicate that something was either average or excellent. Along the same lines, ʻlaɪtətiːz can be used to diminish the harshness of an observation. "He isn't the cleanest person I know" could be used as a means of indicating that someone is a messy person. ʻlaɪtətiːz is a form of understatement, always deliberate and with the intention of emphasis. However, the interpretation of negation may depend on context, including cultural context. In speech, it may also depend on intonation and emphasis. For example, the phrase "not bad" can be said in such a way as to mean anything from mediocre to excellent. It can be used to soften harsher expressions, similar to euphemism. The use of ʻlaɪtətiːz is common in English, Russian, German, Dutch, Hebrew, Aramaic, Greek, and French. They are features of Old English poetry and of the Icelandic sagas and are a means of much stoical restraint. The word ʻlaɪtətiːz is of Greek origin, meaning the property of being light, and is derived from the word litos meaning plain, small or meager. George Orwell complained about overuse of the not un construction in his essay Politics and the English Language. Biblical ʻlaɪtətiːz, Isaiah 55:11 "My word. It shall not return unto me void," meaning my word will have meaning and be important. Jeremiah 30:19 "I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will make them honored, and they shall not be small," meaning they shall be very many, and they shall be very great. Jeremiah 23:32 "They do not profit this people at all," meaning they lead these people astray. Jeremiah 7:31 They have built the high places of Topheth, which is in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to burn their sons and their daughters in the fire, which I did not command, meaning I have forbidden this atrocious practice. Leviticus 10:1, and they offered strange fire which he did not command, meaning contrary to my express command. Hebrews 7:14, and in regard to that tribe Moses said nothing about priests, meaning Moses has spoken of a tribe to be set apart and Judah is not it. Classical ʻlaɪtətiːz, the first time this word is mentioned is in a letter from Cicero in 56 BC. In this letter the meaning of the word is simplicity of life. Over time the meaning and the function of the word changed. It went from meaning simple to using the idea of understatement which involves double negatives. The idea was that you wanted to say something as impressive and unambiguous as possible. The pattern for early ʻlaɪtətiːz was to start with two words, mainly a positive and a negative connected by a particle. This would give the word two meanings. After the redundancy is felt, the positive part can be omitted. Due to the feeling of the phrase, the reader will then have to work with the author or speaker to understand what the author is trying to convey. In Old Norse, there were several types of ʻlaɪtətiːz that got the same point across. These points are denied negatives, denied positives, creating ʻlaɪtətiːz without negating anything, and creating ʻlaɪtətiːz using a negative adjective. ʻlaɪtətiːz and ethos. ʻlaɪtətiːz can be used to establish ethos, or credibility, by expressing modesty or downplaying one's accomplishments to gain the audience's favor. In the book Rhetorica ad Hieronium, ʻlaɪtətiːz is addressed as a member of the figures of thought known as diminutio, or understatement. It is listed in conjunction with ontanantiosis and meiosis, two other forms of rhetorical diminutio. For example, a very accomplished artist might say "I'm not a bad painter," and by refraining from bragging but still acknowledging his skill, the artist is seen as both talented, modest, and credible. Examples: other languages. In Classical Greek, instances of ʻlaɪtətiːz can be found as far back as Homer. In Book 24 of the Iliad, Zeus describes Achilles like this: Ia 1/2 Ia micron I cubed Ia 1/4 I florin Ia 3/4 1/2 or 1/4 Ia permil I 1/2 Ia 1/2 Ia 3/4 1/2 or 1/4 I florin Ia euro. He is neither unthinking, nor unseeing, meaning that he is both wise and prudent. In French, pas mal is used similarly to the English, while ʻlaɪtətiːz par antipathique is another example, actually meaning ʻlaɪtətiːz tra sympathetic, though you don't want to admit it. Another typical example is cleanest par te, generally said to admit a clever suggestion without showing oneself as too enthusiastic. One of the most famous Litotes of French literature is to be found in Pierre Corneille's Le Cid. The heroine, Kimani, says to her lover Rodrigue, who just killed her father, "Va, je ne t'ai point," meaning I love you. In Chinese, the phrase "a unregistered trademark" is often used to present something as very good or correct. Also, the phrase "ac registered trademark (a" is used to refer to an impressive feat. Similarly, in Dutch, the phrase "niet slecht" is often used to present something as very good or correct, as does German. In Italian, meno male is similar to the English expression, so much the better, used to comment that a situation is more desirable than its negative. In Latin, an example of Litotes can be found in Ovid's Metamorphoses, non semel, meaning on more than one occasion. Some common words are derived from Litotes. Non-nulli from non-nulli is understood to mean several, while non-numquam from non-numquam is used for sometimes. In Spanish, it is usual to say "no es nada tonto," as a form of compliment. Another common Spanish phrase is menos mal, meaning literally less bad, but which is used in the same way as the English phrase thank goodness. In Turkish, it is quite common to say "here section fena değil," as a form of compliment. In Welsh, Siomi or means to be pleasantly surprised. See also, double negative, meiosis, antiphrasis, understatement, euphemism, notes. References: Smith, Herbert Weir. Greek Grammar. Cambridge M.A., Harvard University Press. PA 680. ISBN A0-674-36250-0. Hollander, Liam Litotes in Old Norse 53.1. PMLA. PPA 1 €33. External links, Biblical Litotes.